Hey Brownie Troop Leaders, this video will help you get ready to deliver Activity 3, create algorithms for a computer that follow a sequence to your Girl Scouts. Let's go over what you need to get started before we talk about the actual activity, which for this step is the patch quilt algorithm, where brownies will have a chance to color in the grid and create a paper patch quilt that they can then try and recreate with the rest of their troop. So it is really exciting, and they have a chance to learn about algorithms, make one, and follow them all in the same activity. So let's go over the materials. You are going to need a little quilt like this. I just drew this on a piece of paper. It's 3 by 3 and it just says my quilt. It's blank right now, but we're gonna color it in just a second. There's no requirement on how big the squares have to be. You could do this on a whiteboard if that's faster for you. I actually did this activity with Brownie Girl Scouts in the virtual space, and I just made a little table that was blank, and I would fill it in with my favorite colors as the activity went along. I will tell you more about that in just a second. Other than that, you are going to need a patch quilt algorithm for each girl from the BTK. It looks like this. And you also are going to need the other sheet that comes with it. It could be printed on the back, it doesn't matter. The patch quilt algorithm steps that are blank right now, but they're gonna fill these out as they go in their partners. And they're also going to need a blank patch quilt. So they have 2 quilts, one for them to design originally, and then one that's blank so that they can practice creating another pair's quilt by following their algorithm. So besides that, you're going to need markers or crayons for the girls to share. It is important that they have the same colors, like from a marker set or from crayons, and that they don't all have just random colors. I made that mistake when I was giving my badge workshop because everyone was in their own homes and had their own colors. When we went to recreate each other's algorithms, some girls didn't have this color, some girls didn't have this color, so it was a little bit of a challenge to figure out on the spot what I should say to them, but we worked through it, but I'm giving you guys the advice now to stick with some really simple colors like from the Crayola markers or whatever you have. They'll only be using about 3 or 4 colors, so it's okay. It's okay that they're all sharing. So now you're ready to dive into the patch quilt activity. So you're gonna start by taking out your 3 by 3 grid that you've drawn on a whiteboard or a piece of paper like this, or if you're in the virtual space, you can just create a 3 by 3 table on your presentation or Word document. And you're gonna start by explaining the rules to your girls that are outlined in the activity plan. And they are that you can only use 2 colors for your quilts, and that you don't want any of the quilt patches that touch to be the same color. So I am going to use pink and purple to make my pretty quilt, and the girls will be telling you how you should make this quilt. Don't just fill it in and show them the answer that it will look like a checker pattern. The girls will describe a checker pattern to you as the solution to these rules that you've been given to create your pretty quilt, and work with them and their descriptions step by step to create your quilt, which I have right here. Then you are going to start thinking about making your algorithm. So explain to your brownies that you are writing your algorithm for your quilt so that somebody else can recreate it if you maybe weren't to finish it or you wanted one that was just like your quilt. You need a clear list of instructions, a clear list of steps, like your algorithm, for someone else to do that for you. So work with your brownies to create your algorithm for the quilt that you guys made together. And it will just be a list of steps that looks just like your quilt. I just have it like 1, 2, 3 like this for row 1, row 2, and row 3. Pink, purple, pink, purple, pink, purple, pink, purple, pink. This will help them get an idea for what they need to put on their patch quilt algorithm for another brownie pair to recreate. So now that you have created your algorithm and they have an example, you're gonna pass out, make sure that everyone has their blank patch quilt, their patch quilt, and their list of steps that they will fill in. So they're gonna be in pairs, or you can do it in groups of 4 if you have a really big group, or if you're in the virtual space, it might be easier for them to be working in a group of 4. Just whatever works best for you. Let them work together to create their design. For their patch quilt, it doesn't have to be 2 colors and the 2 squares that are the same color they can touch. There really aren't rules except for that they should make it clear for another person to follow their list of instructions. So once your girls have finished filling out their blank patch quilts by following the patch quilt algorithm that the partner has written for her, you are going to ask how it went, how your quilt looks like the other girl's quilt, and how it was to follow their algorithm. If you get some answers and their quilts don't really look like each other, that's totally okay, because you're gonna talk to them next about debugging. To talk to your girls about debugging and what that looks like in computer science, you can say that a problem or an error in an algorithm like the one that they wrote is called a bug, and the process of going line by line on their algorithm and in their code is called debugging, and that will eventually make the code run just how the computer scientist intends it to. So you can encourage them to go line by line of their algorithm and see if there's anything that they need to do to their code to make it more clear for their partner to recreate their quilt. So this will take a few minutes. They can just check over it. If everything went smoothly, then they won't need to debug their algorithm, but there are always steps that they could take to make their algorithm a little more clear for the next person or for the computer to understand. To wrap up this activity, have everyone go around the room and show off their patch quilts with their partner and how they recreated it following their algorithm. Have them talk about the experience of writing and following their first code. I'm sure some of them might have had some struggles or some things that they needed to fix. So congratulate them for persevering and for making efficient codes for each other to follow, because that is a huge win. So great job, and get ready for activity 4, which is using loops to improve your algorithm.